So now we've given the company a good plug, TGL, where we make all your logistics dreams come true without the headaches. Not to sound like a broken record, on this particular topic, I have done a few videos. Over the years, we've been doing this thing called YouTube. It is something that us as a business, we continue to confront. I'm gonna go through this video with a message to you who would like to be our customer. And the second part of that message is to you, the logistics professional like me, who are basically trying to make this game your livelihood, make this game your profession, and hopefully make this game your career. And really to challenge yourself what it means to be one of us. So let's get going. As you can see from the board, we're going to talk about price. And more precisely, our interactions when it comes to price. Because invariably, we always get asked these two words very early on in a conversation with a potential customer. And if you're a freight forwarder like me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Before we dive into the industry, let's pull the whole situation back and let our minds take us to our environment, how we go about our daily lives as an individual, as a human being outside of work. We go to, say, a sandwich shop. We'll look at the sandwich and we'll get the price tag and we'll pay the money. Now, if a sandwich shop doesn't have a price, we'll probably go and ask for the price, and then we decide whether we want to buy that or not. But we will never go to a sandwich shop after them exhibiting a price or so forth and go, can I have your best price on that sandwich? Example 2, if you go to a Mercedes car dealership, you're never going to go to a Toyota dealership and say, look, can you give me your best price? Because Toyota is only charging me X amount and I want you to beat that price. You will never do that because you'll be laughed out of the room. You can do that if you go to another Mercedes dealership and you say, look, I'm looking at the E300, what's your best price? But even then, you'll ask the best price because you would have already done your research about why you really want to get the best price for that vehicle. You can only be in a position to ask for the best price if you narrowed in on your selection after your research, if you narrowed in that particular vehicle has what it takes or what it is you love about that vehicle makes you want to spend your hard-earned money, and you have already pretty much confirmed that this is the car you are going to buy next. Because there's a lot of groundwork you would have laid down already before you go and say, I want the best price. Now, when you get to that level, power to you. You can ask for the best price and let's see who will come to the party. Dial those examples back into freight forwarding. We've got it pretty tough. Some say 2 of the hardest industries to sell for is insurance and freight forwarding. And I tend to agree. Although I do think insurance charge a lot of money for delivering very little, a peace of mind. But logistics, it's almost unjustifiably that we are included in with insurance because we do deliver minute after minute, hour after hour, because there is a tangible output of our time. How do you do your research and get to a point where you can say, I'm confident this is a company I want, now I want their best price? It's hard. And I'll tell you why it's hard, because we have not behaved like every industry we serve on the planet. And that is every industry, because every industry needs logistics. It's not enough that the market doesn't understand us. Let's face it, most of us work in this industry, we don't understand it. Because maybe some of us are lazy. Yes, a lot of you are lazy. A lot of you only got this job because it was close to home, because your mom or your auntie worked there and got you an interview. This has always been an issue with our industry. We have far too often have individuals that are unwilling to be in this game called logistics because they're not motivated. How they started with this industry was not from a place of research, study, and yes, I want to move freight. Little Johnny in front of class never ever said, I want to be a freight forwarder. So you can see that the problem is rather seismic. It feeds into another, which creates this issue that we have when our customers engages with someone like us. They really haven't been encountered with us enough time that raises their awareness of how to speak and communicate with us. We haven't given them those tools because we haven't taken the time to train our own people to be professionals. We've siloed them into a single function, expecting to behave like robots and push out efficiency rather than quality. A lot of companies out there, you guys are crap. In fact, some of the largest in the top 10 are totally crap because they're just massive. And it's very hard to manage so many moving pieces and keep a standard. Going back to food, my favorite analogy is catering, right? Cooking for one, making sure it's quality is easy, but cooking for 1,000, keeping that in shape, much more difficult. The same logic and rule applies in our industry. And the last thing we think about when we're trying to keep all the pieces moving and floating and keep the shareholders happy and making sure we're making X percentage on the margin, the last thing we think about is educating our people. I've been in those situations where I work for the biggest of names and so forth, where there's next to zero education. It's pretty much sink or swim. Now, with those pressures, the most brilliant of minds will become a robot. And this is when we're just like, oh, well, man, it's easy, man. If the customer asks for the best price, there you go, Mr. Customer. And the customer's, no, too expensive. Oh, God, let me go back to pricing. Bash them over the heads. Pricing, your rates are too high. Give us a better rate. Here you go. You have just now conditioned that customer to think, oh, that's how we communicate with these people. And I don't blame them because let's face it, if you're a sales guy in this industry, ask yourself, are you selling rates or are you selling a service? And I don't mean a history lesson. A lot of you multinational salespeople out there, trust me, you'll be talking about your history of the company, how many thousands of people around the world and how many trucks and all that sort of fun stuff. Believe me, I know where you are. I used to be one of those. It means nothing to the customer. It sounds fancy and you conditionally, you brainwash the customer to think, oh, this must be it. The more headcount they have, the more trucks they have, then I'm with the right company. The larger the company, probably the worse it is for you, the Australian-sized business, because they're way too big for you. You do not even scratch their branch stationery budget. So why would anyone give you so much attention? The reality is, guys, the size of your business, the size of the company you're using, make sure they match. Instead of asking for the best price, try to ask them, hey, where in the list of your customers do I sit? Because if you're not in the top 20, you are just literally, thank you, come again, next, please. Another angle, you can be saying, hey, why do you want my business? How many of you customers out there who are watching this have ever asked that of your logistics company? Ask the sales guy, why do you want my business? Depending on how they respond, very quickly you can filter out the BS to the real reason. Most multinationals, most salespeople in this industry, it's because you are important to that salesperson's budget pressures. So of course, that salesperson has to look after you. Now, a salesperson is great at selling. They're not good at maintaining service because that's not their job. And this is the disconnect. You might be using a company and a person, the sales guy's great. He's energetic, he's motivated, he's passionate. But ask yourself, how far does that stretch to? Because he is not the person transacting on the job. So before you go and speak about price and best price and all of that stuff, ask those critical questions. And then most importantly, ask us, who is going to be handling your work, actual work, day to day? Who do I contact? And if that salesperson can't give you a first name, that means that salesperson doesn't really even know who the hell is going to look after your actual work. We can. Every one of our sales guys will know when they sit before you who is going to be servicing your account on the first meeting. Why? Because that salesperson would have done the research of why he is sitting in front of you. This is the difference between a Mercedes and a Toyota. I'm not rubbishing Toyota. I drive Toyota. I love Toyota, but you get my point. And say you've done your research. You've gone to tender and you've asked 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different providers on your beautiful annual tender. It's a nightmare because why? It's a non-standardized industry. We all call a fee a different thing. So to compare 5, 6, 7, 8 different freight providers and trying to crunch that into a spreadsheet and to make sense, God, I don't envy you for one. And second, I guarantee you would have cocked it up somewhere and you guys need to wake up from that. You should be finding out no more than 3 providers who you have done your research, have those candid conversations on the phone before you even submit the tender documents. That's the right way. I've been doing this for 30 years and I've seen it all in all continents. Invariably, the level of communication I get falls into the same problem. And we are so lazy, we can't be bothered to fix anything. So then we just go to the lowest denominator and go, here you go, here's our best price. And let the bottom dollar win. That's not how you get quality, guys. The final note to cap it off, I suppose, you need to ask yourself, what am I not doing when I'm just going so simplistic on a single dimension of price? I have the answer for you. Yep, I'm using TGL because they know who I am. I'm using them because they know my priorities, therefore allows me to focus on my priorities. I never need to have the conversation of best price because they are always within the budget I have set out for my shipping. Because my cost of goods is X, everything else is Y. It has to be playing within those boundaries, and TGL meets that. Then that's it. If you're making money on your cost of goods, factoring all of the other charges, and it's within your budget, that is your best price. Money is the product of your pursuits. It should never be the pursuit. And when you're engaging with a freight provider and you're chasing that, you're never going to run a successful import business because you're never going to scale. Scalability is important. It only allows you to focus on your priorities. How to sell your product better, how to make sure your product is better than your competitors, where your goods get to market at the earliest of opportunities so you can get that working capital working for you. No headaches. Minimize delays and errors because they know your business. How much is that worth? At TGL, I guarantee you, when you stretch out the bigger picture, we are always going to be the most competitive, the most precise logistics companies out there. If your business fits with ours. You may be too small or you may be too large, but we will tell you that. We will never lead you up the garden path. Now for our fellow freight forwarding professionals, have you been educated enough by the company that employs you for you to behave and act and feel like a professional? Because if you haven't, if you do not go and seek out the right employment place, you will become very shallow and you will feel very hollow. And before long, you're just gonna feel like a rubber stamper. I was one of those for decades, and I came out of feeling very, very, very empty. We are an essential service. Behind an essential service requires professionalism to carry those essential services out. You need to upskill, you need to train yourself, you need to work with yourself, you need to understand how to speak to customers without giving them a history lesson. How to speak customers without talking about price. Because if you start a relationship on price, that relationship will end on price. Do better, be better, and never, never allow a price be the judgment of you. On that bombshell, thank you very much. My name is Chang, the CEO of Think Global Logistics.